Everybody got this?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We started.
All right, are we ready? Perfect. All right, guys. My name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the district sales manager.
A late student?
Okay. I am the district sales manager for Journeys Shoe Store. How many in here know what Journeys is? How many in here have shopped at Journeys? How many in here would love to have a cool job? You can be yourself, you can have a lot of fun, and it's the #1 shoe store in the world. So, I'm here today just to talk to you a bit about that. If you guys want to follow along in the little pamphlet that I brought you, Journeys was started in 1986. Opened its first store in Nashville, Tennessee, which I'm sure is older than everyone in this room. Except for you, me. In 1996, we opened our 100th store. In 1999, we launched our first website. In 2005, we celebrated by having at least one store in all 50 states. 2001, we started our kids store concept, which is little kids shoes, or big kids shoes and little kids sizes. 2000, we started our catalog, which goes out to over 1 million doors 4 times a year. In 2006, we started our Backyard Barbecue, which was a skate BMX tour with bands that we would do 5 cities a summer. It was really a lot of fun. In 2010, we opened our very first store in Canada. 2011, we turned 25 years old. That's a lot to accomplish in 25 years. When you think about, when you go to the mall, how many of you notice that you see a store, it's a Charlotte Russe one day, and it's a Zumiez the next? Anybody ever notice that? In the retail business, to have staying power like we have is a huge deal. You're not ever going to go in and see a Journeys close down unless there's a Journeys Kids put in their place. So, how many of you wonder how we do that? By having good people that work for us. Good, passionate people that come into our stores and sell our shoes. We have recently acquired, in 2011, we bought a shoe company, literally, over in Europe called Schuh, S-C-H-U-H. And we have grown them by like 30 stores just in the 4 short years that we purchased them. And I have been fortunate enough to get to go over there to Europe. I've been to Scotland and I've been to London to visit some of the stores. It was very exciting. It was crazy because it is literally just Journeys with a different name on it. And they were 20 years old when we purchased them and only had like, can't remember, 35 or 40 stores. And now just in the past 5 years, we've doubled what they've done. So, it's a very exciting company to be working for. We also sponsor the Noise Tour. Have you ever heard of the Noise Tour? Nobody? Look for it. It comes around in the fall. I think it's supposed to start touring. And it's just a concert, and it's sponsored by us. We also sponsor the Vans Warped Tour. Anybody familiar with that? Who's familiar with that?
What's that called?
Vans Warped Tour. So we are a 3-year main stage sponsor of them that just started this year, which is very, very exciting.
Is that a concert too?
Yeah, it's just an all-day
It's like a music
festival. Have you ever been?
No, I want to.
Okay, well the closest one to here is going to be in Kansas City. There's a stop in Kansas City every year. So you guys need to make sure you check it out.
Isn't it done for this year though?
Huh?
Noise Tour?
It is. The Noise Tour is coming up. The Warped Tour already happened. It's in the summer. In 2012, Journeys and all of our core stores topped $1 billion in sales, which is a huge, huge milestone for any kind of retail environment. How many of you guys in here own more than 3 pairs of shoes? Okay. Do you pick them for something specific, or do you pick them for fashion? Fashion?
Depends.
Whatever. Okay. Our average core customer has about, I think it's about 12 pairs of shoes in their wardrobe. 8 of them come from us because we have such a diverse unit of brands. We sell Vans, we sell Converse, Timberlands, Ralph Lauren, Uggs, yeah, just about anything that you can think of, we sell. Birkenstocks, everything. So,
Just you guys.
huh?
Oh, is it
She
just
said
us?
PF Flyers. Yeah, you guys are the only ones.
PF Flyers? PF Flyers are, they're everywhere, just not a lot
Not in
in the Omaha area. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I started with the company in 2002. I started as a co-manager. I was a little bit more mature than your average Journeys employee, but that's what I love about the company, is that on my staff right now, I have anywhere from an 18-year-old person running a store, and we're talking about being in charge of anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million worth of annual sales, $1 million worth of inventory at any given time. And the great thing about Journeys is we look at life experience. Sometimes we will have people that have their first store while they're still living in their parents' basement. They will be in charge of running $1 million store before they have had a checkbook, before they have their own apartment. So the great thing about Journeys is you don't have to have a college degree. So any of you guys, and I'm not trying to be a proponent against school, but any of you guys that feel like school is not, just right down your path, you don't want to go take 4 years of math to be able to do retail, that's perfect. That's what we're looking for. You can have a college degree if you have one, but it's not required. I didn't have one. So I started with the company. She doesn't have one. So I started with the company in 2002, and I started in a very, very, very small store in Greenville, Mississippi. Like $300,000 annual sales. Anybody want to do the math on that and tell you how long I stood there going like this? Somebody please come in, please come in, please come in.
Is it a small town?
That's a very small volume store.
That's small. Is the town, the population?
It is down in the Delta where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi meet. And so I had to travel. I was living in Arkansas and had to travel across the bridge to get to Greenville, to get to a town of about 50,000 people. Okay? Very small mall. You could literally throw a rock from the one end to the other. Didn't even have a food court. Still doesn't. One of those. But I had never even heard of Journeys before I started working at it. I worked at a local sporting goods store that was owned by some friends of mine. And I worked at Garfield's Restaurant, which it's like, that's the only restaurant in the whole mall. And everybody that worked at the mall worked at Garfield's. You had to work there. You didn't just get to eat there. You had to work there too. You had to pick up a couple of shifts. But this guy came in and was talking to me one day, and he said, I know you work down at the sporting goods store, and he said, I think you would be a perfect fit for Journeys. And I'm like, I've never heard of Journeys. Isn't it a bunch of kids that work down there? I never even go down there. What is it? After a 5-minute conversation, I was sold. Absolutely sold. And I have never once looked back at my life with regret that I did this. It has opened so many doors for me. It has allowed me to have so many more opportunities than just your average job. I ran that store for about 2.5 months. I was a co-manager for about a month. And I ran that store for about 2.5 months. I was relocatable, so I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and ran a $1 million store there. Was there for about 16 months. and then went to Springfield, Missouri. I was there for about 4 months. And then in October of 2005, so literally 3 years after I started, I was promoted to district manager.
In Iowa.
In Iowa. Didn't even know where it was. When I went for my interview, they said, so here's what we have. We have Iowa. And I went, where is that? And they said, it's just the state below you, because I was living in Springfield. But it's been an amazing opportunity. I have, we have meetings all over the United States. I just got back from a 5-day meeting in Chicago. We've been to Orlando. We've been to New Orleans. I mean, it's really, really a fun company. And the great thing about our company is that everyone in my position or higher has been a store manager. That is the requirements. You can't be a district manager unless you've been a store manager. My boss started out as a store manager. I had another boss that started out as a part-time stock person. Every person in our company has worked in the store to be a merchandiser, to be a buyer, to be on the operations team, to go around and build new stores. You have to have been a store manager for at least 9 months. Does anybody wonder why?
It sounds fair.
Huh?
It sounds fair.
Because, yes, exactly. Well, exactly, because we are a company that works very hard for each other. So before somebody sitting behind a desk in our home office in Nashville, Tennessee says, I'm going to put this out to, because we have over 1,200 stores now, okay? So before I put this directive out to all 1,200 stores, I'm going to know how it impacts them. I'm going to know how it affects them in their day-to-day, the way they run the store. And I think that that's the great, probably the best thing about our company, is our culture. I was approached by Finish Line about 6 months ago. They wanted me to come work for them. And I was like, no. And I said, why? Let me ask you a question, because a recruiter called me and she said, well, I've only been with the company for 18 months. There's another girl in another area that's only been with the company for 10 months. Another person in a position that's higher than mine, 22 months. And I said, can I just ask you a question? And they said, yes. And I said, why don't you promote from within? Why don't you tap your resources that you already have? And she said, we are looking for the best people at the job. And she said, we don't feel like it would be very hard to teach them the culture of Finish Line. You know what that made me think? I would never want to be a part of that. Never. Our culture is what makes us who we are. The Journeys culture, you can't teach that. You have to live it. And while, I'm not trying to talk negatively about Finish Line by any means, but I couldn't get my head wrapped around it, because our culture, knowing our culture and how we do things and how we service customers and where we came from, is more important to us than your ability to be able to do the job. We hire for attitude, and then we train for aptitude. So I could never imagine doing that. To hire someone on as a store manager from another business, very rare. Everyone has to start as a co-manager. Do you have a question?
Do you guys work with Nike, like have a partnership with Nike?
Our kids store, our kids division does, but not our adult division.
Do you think your adult division will ever get Nike?
We had it.
We broke up.
It was a bad breakup. We had to go get all of our CDs and, that kind of stuff. Give back our rings, and, they wanted to go in a different direction than we wanted to go in. So, and that's the thing. Did it cost us a little bit of money? Maybe. But we believed in what we were doing, and we're not going to sacrifice the Journey's core values for any company. What you got, Alex?
Okay, this is kind of from a while back, but how big of a change was it going from such a small store to $1 million store?
Oh, it was crazy. I lost. I actually lost my first year. I couldn't figure it out. I was 34 years old when I started with Journeys, okay? So, I had a ton of retail experience. A ton. I was running a sporting goods store when I met Journeys. Before that, I had run a 50,000 square foot home decorative accessory store. It was kind of like a Kirkland's and Pier 1 threw up all in one building. I was doing the accounts receivable, the accounts payable. I was hiring. I was arranging trucks. I was doing everything because it was a local business in the town of 3,000 that I lived in. And I had just done a lot of things. I had a lot of life experience. But I lost. And the reason why I lost is because I didn't understand the culture at first. People can be and that's, we're going to talk a little bit about hiring and what we look for, but someone can have a great lot of experience running a Best Buy, running a Bed Bath & Beyond, working at Target. That doesn't make them right for our culture. And thank goodness I was able to adapt, because if I hadn't been able to, I wouldn't be here, But I lost the rest of that year, and then I finally got my head wrapped around it. But I had people that believed in me. They didn't just throw me away because I didn't win and I didn't understand why I was not winning. I worked very hard. Some weeks I worked 80 hours, some weeks I worked 100 hours. So they knew that I had what it takes. I had the drive and I had the ambition. I just didn't have the culture down yet. But after that year, there was no stopping me. I won Regional Manager of the Year, which is the best manager out of like 170 stores. The year that I was promoted, I won District Manager of the Year, which is the best store out of my district. Totally got rooked on that. I was supposed to win regional again, but I think there was a problem with the vote. But we have awards ceremonies every year where the top managers in the company for 3 days get flown to Nashville, wined and dined. You get great awards. You win a watch for increasing over $100,000 over last year. There's different prizes for 200. There's different prizes for 300. Ashley's been,
I've been twice. 3 times?
Yeah. It's amazing. And what they do is just bring everybody in, shared practices, and share that culture. But yeah, from going from 300,000 to being able to literally do it all by yourself to $1 million. $1 million store is an average for us right now. We have $2 million stores. We have $3 million stores. We had a store in New York that did $8 million.
What was that new store they just opened that did like $1 million in it?
First 30 days.
Yeah, first 30 days.
We just opened a new store in New York that did $1 million in the first 30 days.
Is that the one that's on the CD?
Store 300.
Do you know what Gretna is?
Gretna does, they are planned to do, is it 525?
Yeah, because our year's not until like November.
Yeah. About 525. And you guys are actually winning.
No.
Yeah, we're at like, I think like 97% on our year.
Yeah. But it's just, you don't have to be you don't have to be a skateboarder to work for us. You don't have to be goth to work for us. You don't have to be super preppy. You don't have to be super cheerleader type. You can be a bookworm. You can be anybody that you want to be to work for Journeys. And that's what we say. We take you how you are. We figure out what to do with you.
You just have to have good attitude, good energy.
Yep. And be willing to walk up and take a chance. Ask people to try on some shoes. Ask people to buy shoes. I only had one tattoo when I started with the company. One.
I had
How many do you
zero.
have now?
I have a lot.
Do you have any?
Me? Yeah, I've got.
I got this all done within the last year. How many companies can you imagine that because I'm considered an executive, as an executive with the company, that you can just sleeve it up
Tattoo boss.
and, and then be like, wow, You know?
I have a question. As a district manager, what are your responsibilities?
My responsibilities, I am responsible for 21 stores. So just just making sure they're maintained, they're staffed, that the inventory is correct, for 21 stores. I have all of Iowa. I actually live in Des Moines. We have to be centrally located. I have all of Iowa. I have Nebraska. I have 2 stores in South Dakota, and I have 1 store in Illinois.
And your Nebraska stores, how far west do you go, like Grand Island or
No, just
Lincoln?
Lincoln, Gretna, 2 stores in Westrose, 2 stores in Oakview, and Council Bluffs. And we're looking at putting a kids store in Lincoln.
How often do you visit your stores?
It is set up because it's done with mall count, not necessarily store count. So my mall count is 17. Okay, because I have 5 kids stores. So while I have 21 stores, I only have 17 malls. So it's set up to see those at least once a month. But you are going to have situations that come up to where you have to be in a store a little bit longer. But the most important thing about our culture, how we grow our business, is hiring people that are relocatable, that would want to move to take a position. And that was the great thing about my ability, was that I can move, you know? So my opportunities were limitless. So that is how we grow our company. We have a 8-week training program. And
I think it's
very fast. The average time that it takes to become a store manager for Buckle is over 2 years. Finish Line, over 2 years. Foot Locker, over a year. In our culture, you can literally start as a co-manager. You can be certified and ready to take your own store 8 weeks.
So do you hire like managers at what age?
Managers, you have to be 18 to be a manager, but our sales associates start at 16. And I can't tell you how many managers and co-managers that we have that started at 16. You know, you start at 16 years old, you get in there and you do a really, really good job. When it's like 3 or 4 months before your 18th birthday, and this is what you decide you want to do, then on your 18th birthday, we can put you in a co-manager in training position. So that way, you get started on your 18th birthday, you can be a co-manager. If this is something that, that really appeals to you. And it's a great market for anybody. Again, people that, have college degrees and don't, because it's fun. The main thing we want to do is have a good time. You might come into one of our stores and you might come in for the 10-second dance party where we just put everything on the floor, stop waiting on our customers, and dance. We can get, we get them to dance with us. I have been known to dance on a picnic table. Okay? So it's just a fun culture. Alex can tell you.
Yeah. Did you meet my dad?
Did I meet your dad?
Yeah.
When
you came into the store. He's head of maintenance at the mall.
Oh, yes, I have met your dad.
Did you show me the Journeys dance where he like? Oh yeah, well it's like before the bass drops, you gotta like.
Why don't you get up and do it for us?
Yeah, show us that.
Yeah, come on.
Right
Do you need
in
a
front of the
beat?
camera, too.
No,
Drop a beat!
You can't videotape me.
Okay.
But it's like when there's like music playing and like, it's like this little rise before it drops the bass or whatever. You gotta like do like this, like let go, bring it up, and then just like.
I love it. We dance. We get our customers to dance. We throw socks. We juggle socks. We just want people to have a good time. Here's Journeys in a nutshell. We don't have any brands that are exclusive to us. You can get DC's, how many places? Converse, how many places? Timberland's, how many places? Doc Martens, how many places?
We do have like specific shoes.
We do have specific shoes, but there is no other place in the mall that you can get the Journeys experience. And that's what people come to us for. you know? It's like being in, anybody in here in theater? Anybody? Have you ever known somebody that was like a super, super shy person walking down the hall, but you see them in the, you know, the yearly theater production and they're just like, like that? Have you ever noticed that? That's the way it is to be with Journeys. You don't have to be the most outspoken person in the world. You know, I tell my people all the time, don't try to be me, because there's not enough room for two of us, okay? But what you have to be is the best you that you can be, the most outspoken you that you can be, and just basically know that you're not being paid to sell shoes. The shoes sell themselves. You're being paid to give an experience to our customers. And the one thing you will learn in retail, this is my favorite, the best thing I've ever learned in retail, is called a neutral sales experience. Do anybody know what that is? Anybody? It's where you didn't make the customer mad, you know, but you didn't do anything to make them remember you, you know? It's like, it was just neutral. So what we want with our people that work for us is, if there were a store, 2 stores closer to the mall entrance that had Converse for $5 cheaper, would they walk 2 more stores down and pay $5 more to shop with you because you remembered them or because you gave them a good experience? That's the most important thing that we are known for, is the experience.
What's your target market? Is it
Our target market for Journeys is 14 to 22. And that's why when you go in our stores, you'll see some younger, you know, you'll see younger shirts and stuff like that. But that is our core. That is our core customer. We have everything, you know.
Oh, I saw the 80-year-old.
Yeah,
I
right,
saw the-
Yeah,
Oh,
but that is our core.
there was a girl, she came in, white hair, sold her red pair of Vans.
Cool.
Like, she thought that they were awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
you get
was
grandmas
like-
that come in with their
Yeah,
teenage
she
kids.
was coming in, she was looking for shoes for her like grandson,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what, these would look great on you, and she tried them on, she got them, and I was like,
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, our average age district manager right now is under 30. There's 62 of us. 62 district managers. I'm the 3rd oldest. 3rd oldest. And I'm 46 years old. But I can tell you that I am younger because I work at Journeys. Because it does. It keeps you young, working with younger people. It can also make you old, but it does keep you young.
Is Journeys commission?
Yes, everybody in the store works on commission. You are guaranteed an hourly rate if you don't hit your commission rate. But right now we're getting ready to hire people for holidays, and it's very, very easy to hit your commission, especially during the holidays.
Like how many shoes do you have to sell to hit your commission?
It's a dollar amount. If you sold $200 on average for every hour that you worked during a 2-week period, you would make $8 an hour. And it goes up from there.
for like sales associates, isn't it like you're hourly, but then after you hit like a percentage of your goal, like you hit like 200% of your goal, then it's commission?
Well, you're guaranteed hourly, but if you were to, let's just say you worked 14 hours in a 2-week period. If you sold $2,800 in that 2-week period, at least, you would make at least $8 an hour.
Oh, okay.
They pay you 4% or the minimum wage rate, whichever is higher.
So like when you're trying to pull in a sale and kind of like finish it when you have somebody on the edge kind of deciding, what kind of like techniques or fundamentals do you, like as like a company, try to like teach associates?
As a company or as a like that?
I'll let you take that.
Unless it's an individual thing, like.
I don't know. I think every manager has their individual way to sell. I'm pretty aggressive. Like I'll be straight up with the customer and say, why won't you buy from me? You know, if you don't ask the questions why they're not gonna buy, or why they're hesitant, or what's going on in there, you have to, sales is so psychological, it's ridiculous. Like you have to figure out what's making them stop from buying. And once you can figure out why they won't buy, you can figure out how to sell them. It's a little hard, but you just have, if they won't buy that specific shoe, There's a reason why they're not gonna buy it. It's either, most of the time it's price, that's one reason people don't buy. They don't like you, so you can't sell somebody something if you can't sell them on yourself first. You have to sell yourself, your attitude, your energy. If they don't like you, they don't vibe with your, you know, your presentation, they're not gonna buy from you. They'll walk right out and they can go anywhere else and buy shoes. So you have to sell them on yourself. You know, if they don't like the price, there's always kind of ways to get around the price. You talk about quality, you talk about how long they'll last. There's a whole plethora of things that you can talk about to get people to buy shoes, but you have to figure out why they're not gonna buy first.
You tell them how great they look on them.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really selling a product as much as you're selling an emotion,
Yeah,
you know?
they have to love you, they have to, I'd say like a good percentage of my business is return clientele. And
Absolutely.
I've even moved locations. I was at Oakview and I got promoted to Westroads, and I thought it was gonna be a difficult challenge, but it's very easy, cause a lot of my customers over at Oakview came to Westroads.
And that is a positive sales experience. Not only will they walk 2 doors further, they will drive 20 minutes further to shop with Ashley. Ashley, why don't you tell them a little bit about your history?
I've been with Journey since 2008. I started off as a part-time sales associate. Within 6 months, I became a co-manager. And then 6 months, I started at Oakview, actually. And within 6 months, I transferred to Westroads as a co-manager. And then I came back and I got promoted to Oakview to run the store. And I ran that for
4 years.
4 years? I ran Oakview for 4 years. And I won. I like winning. I don't like to lose at all. So I just kept winning and throwing up big gains, big numbers. And I needed a challenge after a while. So I took Westroads. It was really exciting.
You will never, ever, the thing about Ashley is, and I can talk about her because she's sitting here, you will never walk in her store and see her standing. She's always doing something. When she waits on a customer, she runs. When I describe Journey's managers as ducks. You know when you see the ducks on the pond or whatever, in the water, how calm do they look on top? What are they doing under the water?
Paddling.
So fast. Paddling, paddling, paddling. And Ashley is the best example that I have of that, because when she is out on that sales floor, she's calm with the customer, she knows what's going on, she knows her surroundings, but when she turns to walk away from them, it is a run. You do not want to get in her way in the back. And I will call her
I'll kick you.
and, hey Ashley, what's going on? I gotta go. She does not hesitate to walk away from me, to hang up in my face if I'm on the phone, because customers are number one. And the reason why I brought her today is because she has had the most successful record in this district. I used to run this district I ran it from 2005 to 2011, and then I moved to Kansas City and ran a district there, and I just got the opportunity to come back here. But for the years that she's been here, she has won consistently every single solitary year, and that's difficult. That's the true measure of a good manager.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is hard to beat your numbers.
You have to beat your own number. You have to be better than you are every year.
See, I just went around and went after people that weren't so great, so that made me look good. But to go after yourself and, be able to address those challenges and see yourself really grow, that's the best part of it.
I'm sorry, Alex, is Westroads more challenging than Oakview? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes and no. Like Oakview was hard for me because it wasn't the busy mall. Like Westroads has always been the busier volume. So Oakview taught me how to get very personal with customers. It taught me how to gain customers for a long period of time. And they always, people would tell me that they would walk straight back out of Finish Line or another shoe store to come shop with me because nobody said hi, nobody said anything. It really is the customer experience that sells people, and you have to have fun with them. But Westroads was a challenge because there's a different market at Westroads than Oakview. So you always have to kind of sell to your markets and kind of know how to talk to people. there's a variety, it's just different in a sense, but it's a busier mall. So not only is the workload a little bit more, but you're, like she said, I'm always, like, I never stand around, cause I know if I waste a minute,
You don't get it back.
I don't get it back.
You
There were-
absolutely
Do
don't
you know
get it back.
that quote by,
Zig Ziglar,
Mm.
it's like, there's 24 1-hour, there's 24 1-hour, something like that, it's like,
Opportunities or something.
I'll have to look it up.
it's like, you have 24 1-hour days,
Yeah.
so you only get
And you
like
can't
1 hour,
do them, yeah.
make it happen. But,
One shot,
One
one
shot.
opportunity.
but yeah, Westroads is totally, it's a different change, and like, I guess the hardest thing was at Oakview, like I developed such a good solid staff. I had to leave all of them at Oakview, promote somebody to run my old store, and then try to make a good staff out of the one that I currently had, or that was at Westroads.
And what did you do before you went to Journeys?
Before Journeys, I was a caretaker. I still do it on the side. I take care of my grandma. But
So you're from Omaha?
I'm from Omaha,
area?
yeah.
But how old were you when you started?
I was 17.
17.
I was 17.
And she will be a district manager.
Uh-huh.
She is actually
So
going,
cool.
we have, there's a store, there's co-managers, there's store managers, then there's area sales managers, which means you are responsible for your store and including 3 or 4 more stores in your area, the day-to-day operations, and they report to me about those.
I have
Um,
5 stores about that I kind of oversee as
That
well
she-
as my own.
And so with that and the workload, it can be crazy, but she is,
I love it.
she's going to area manager training in a few weeks, and then I have no doubt that she will be in our spring district manager training. So probably, I would give her probably 2 years. You can ask her to come for career day.
Okay.
And I can tell you that I knew nothing about shoes. When you probably remember, I had long hair. I was probably like
Ratchet.
a skater. I think I was like, I wore DCs and I looked like a skater, and I didn't know a thing about shoes. I promise you that. I didn't have shoes. I didn't really have any shoes. I had one pair of like ripped up trash DCs. I wore them to work one day, and
All it takes is one person to give you a shot, you know?
I had a great boss. Not just her, but my
Not her, but the
No,
other.
I had two. I had a good district manager and I had a store manager who really pushed me to be my best.
And when I left to go to Kansas City, we promoted her to a district, the girl that she's talking about, to her to a district manager, because again, that's how we grow our company. I trained her and promoted her to a district manager, and she's actually in Minneapolis now running a district.
Okay, really quick, I was gonna ask, you said you were gonna talk about, like, what you look for when you hire people.
A good attitude, you know, it's, you look for somebody that has some energy, that has just a great attitude, and that wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. It's very much, while we do work on commission, it's very much a team, you know? Somebody that wants to be a part of a team, and even if you don't know how, just if you want to be. You know, we're getting ready to hire our holiday help right now. How many people are you gonna have to hire? 12? 20? Well, 12 more?
12 more.
Okay. 12 more just in that one store. In the Omaha area, we're probably going to need to hire 50 people between now and November.
Black
And-
Friday is the most fun.
Yeah, Black Friday, super fun.
And then you guys extend your hours too overnight,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's why you.
Yeah,
I
the
know
malls
that's-
are opening this year at 6 p.m. Where they opened,
Most likely. Yes.
where they opened at 8 p.m. last year, a 4-hour increase. But I had a store, and based on the volume is how many people that you have working. And I had a store down, does anybody know where Branson, Missouri is?
Heard of it.
6
Branson?
p.m. until like the next day.
Yeah, well,
That's real life.
I had a store that opened at 11 a.m. and it was like it was a $700,000 store, but because it was outside and, you know, the harsh winters, it was like they did all of their business between Labor Day and Memorial Day, you know. So the rest of the year it was like super, you know, no tourists, no traffic, and They were open from 11 a.m. on Thanksgiving all the way through till 10 o'clock on Christmas night. We had to hire like 40 people
For those shifts.
for those shifts. Yeah.
That's insane. If you've ever like been in a Journey store, like they're not big. You know, it's
No,
not like
they're not.
it's not like a huge like the Nike store.
We've
like-
started doing them a little bit bigger, but yeah,
They're
they're
cramped.
typically
They get
small.
Yeah, because like the one in
guys are just
Westroads
one of
is
the
like,
biggest.
the one in Westroads is half the size of the Gretna one.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, I was like, how do they do this?
We used to
Well, I
do,
set
we
up
used
my
to do the
chair.
same volume out of the, what would used to be the kids store. When I had this district, it was what used to be, what is the kids store now. So we were
Oh,
doing
The
the
one in
same,
Westroads?
Yeah,
Yes.
so that was the adult store.
I mean,
That small space was the adult
See,
store.
that's insane.
I worked there 1 year, during back to school, and we had over 2,000 pairs of shoes on the floor. And there were so many people there that I would be like, hey, what size do you need? And they'd be like, black Vans, size 8.5. I would go get them,
Throw them.
throw them.
No, like seriously,
Yeah,
Black
I mean-
Friday, Christmas, people
Yeah,
have
and that's the
shoes.
fun part. That's why it's such a fun place to work. I'm like, what size do you need, player? I'm like, did she just call me player? Yeah, what do you need? Come on, dude, come on. And they're like, 8.5. Well, bam, go on. You know, it's fun.
It's fun.
What other kind of questions do y'all have? How much time do we have? Is it almost time?
Yeah, like 2 minutes.
What
Okay.
are the hours?
Just small hours, 11 to 6 on, 10 to 11 to 6 on Sundays, and then 10 to 9 on Monday through Friday. But then we have extended Christmas hours. And I put that career pamphlet will teach all of you guys how to go online and make application, and you can apply for any of the stores, and tell your friends.
Do you guys want any extra pamphlets to give out to friends?
Yeah.
I can take, for the
Yeah.
kids that are absent
Uh-huh.
for sure, but.
Yeah, we love
And this
them.
stuff is for
Okay.
you guys. Take as many stickers as you want, put them on your lockers. And the other thing we also do is an attitude that cares. We pay our employees for going and volunteering.